Hello and welcome back to Chevy Silverado Simulator. I mean SnowRunner. With the amount of Chevy Silverado mods that have been made for this game at this point, you might actually look at this game and think to yourself that it was primarily a Chevy Silverado simulator. Now, all jokes aside, this mod is by Glitchworks and it is the 2007 Desperado 1500, and Glitchworks actually literally says himself in the post for this mod that he keeps building Chevy Silverados because that's what people keep asking for, is like some variation of some Chevy Silverado somewhere. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and fire this thing up, get it into the garage, and see what we can do with it. It definitely has I would call it a unique startup sound. It seems a little bit different than what I've heard on Glitch's trucks before. So let's go ahead and jump into our options. So these will probably change in designation at some point, but let's see. We've got basically stage, I would imagine that this one is like stage 0 because the others are stage 1 and stage 2. I don't even think these numbers are accurate. It's probably a different type of naming system. So we're going to go ahead and select stage 2, which is going to be our S plus option. Now, I would imagine that the gearbox options are fairly standard, but we have the 5-speed, the 6-speed, and the 4-speed, which again are pretty standard across the general range of Glitchworks mods. So we're going to go with probably going to start on the 4-speed and then switch to the 6-speed for the bridge jump a little bit later on. So starting on the 6-speed, and then now we have normal height, medium height, and high suspension lift, which equals out to, I believe, like a 10-inch lift kit. Now, Glitch did say that this was the most realistic IFS kit that any of the mods have had so far. Well, any of Glitchworks' mods. I'm sure that there's another modder out there that would disagree and say that they have a more realistic IFS. Glitch said that this is Glitch's in particular most realistic IFS that he's ever done. So once again, that's not necessarily to say any other IFS systems in the game are not up to a certain standard. It's just Glitch saying that this one is the best they've done so far. Now, as far as tires go, we have pretty much whatever you might want. Everything from 31s all the way up to 39s in really every kind of spec, from your ultra deep dish, super low sidewall, essentially mall crawler spec. Now, the reason why there are so many different options is because this uses Glitch's Scout Wheel and Tire Pack. Now, essentially what that does is if you want to run this mod with a bunch of other mods, or maybe your console is a little bit older and doesn't have the ability to allocate enough RAM, you essentially can have the truck without the aftermarket wheels and tires, which greatly reduces the RAM usage of the truck. So again, it's baked in there as a feature for older console users that maybe don't want to have to deal with, RAM restrictions quite as harshly. Now, you really can just set this thing up however you would like, though. I mean, honestly, everything from your heavy duty, heavy sidewall stuff all the way over to your, honestly, mud tires. You've got swampers, you've got your SEMA wheels and tires. It really is legitimately up to you. So with that being said, I think it's time we go ahead and throw some probably some 39-inch Baja Pros and see what this thing can do. Now, if you do plan on running it in snow and ice, you also have chained options for that as well. Now, let's go ahead and get those all thrown together. I'll grab the OP winch. And then now, if you want to throw this Z71 sticker on the bedside, you can also do that. And lighting-wise, you've got a curved LED light bar that you can throw up there on the top of the windshield. But honestly, I'm really not sure if I want to do it. I'm really, truly not sure if I want to go that route with it. I probably will, because I feel like a lot of people in the comments are going to be very upset if I don't. As far as bumper options go, you have the lighted bumper in the rear, which does kind of weigh the rear of the truck down a little bit. So you're going to have to be careful of that if you plan on running a bunch of like, you know, really tight trails with a lot of overhang. And as far as supplies goes, we can go ahead and throw some jerry cans and a bed spare in the back. Now, in terms of bed options themselves, you have a headache rack, you got a couple of different roll bars, and oh, that's actually sick. It's a custom like Desperado roll bar with like Desperado actually like engraved in the roll bar. That's honestly, Glitch, that's wild. That's actually properly cool. That's properly sick. And then, of course, you get your toolbox options as well. So let's go ahead and throw those in there. And then we could run steps if we wanted to. I'm not a fan of that style, so we're going to leave them out. And then grill-wise, we've got a billet grill. We've also got a color-matched grill, and we've got the stock chrome grill. Now, honestly, I think we're going to go with the color matched grill. I think that looks pretty good, actually. Now, aftermarket taillights, we're definitely going to throw those in. And then snorkel wise, I think I originally wasn't going to do this, but I think we're going to run the OP invisible snorkel because I just like the way it looks, especially without the visible snorkel. I think it looks a little better. Now, let's see, rear exit exhaust or angled exhaust. I think I'm going to leave it with the angled exhaust. And then stock bumper, full-size brush guard, which you can do if you would like, and a lighted heavy steel bumper with an aftermarket winch chilling on the front. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm so split. I feel like it looks better with the stock bumper, and I'm not the world's biggest fan of these other two bumpers. But you know what? We're going to actually go a little bit outside my norm this time, and we're going to run the brush guard. And now in terms of wheels, that's entirely up to you. It's entirely up to whatever you want to do, whatever route you want to go, because it's just personal preference at this point, and it's not going to affect the performance of the truck at all. So we're going to go ahead and probably go with, actually, you know what? I think I might actually go with these GWC Monster 1 wheels, because it's not something I ever use on literally any other trucks. So I'm just going to send it. And then now, it does look good in black, but I think I want to run it in something different because that's the standard color that it comes in. And I kind of want to change it up a little bit. I think we'll run... Why am I so torn? Why am I so seriously torn? There's so many good options for colors. Actually, you know what? I dig the gray. It's kind of like a darker blue slash, well, it's either like a very, very gray blue or kind of a blue gray, whichever way you want to lean with that. And then we're going to go ahead and throw Beans right up there on the dash if we can. There's Beans. I want to see how much flex we can get out of this 10-inch lift kit. I know it's probably not going to be anything, you know, gnarly or amazing, but it's actually better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's not some kind of trail rig. It's not some kind of crawler. It's not it's not going to give you solid axle swap levels of flex. And that's fine, because it doesn't really promise that. It actually doesn't promise it at all. So now we can go ahead and see what this thing is just like to drive in general. I feel like a lot of people are going to really enjoy this truck because I feel like it's going to not only give people something to drive that they have a lot of real world experience with, but this is honestly a generation of truck that so many people own now that I think it's going to be really, really honestly identifiable with. I think a lot of people are going to want this one in their game solely because they probably have one in their driveway. It made such short work of that. Like, legitimately, it didn't even care. It was just like, oh, a hill? That's fine. Like, oh, don't worry about that hill. We'll just knock it out. It's no big deal. Is it diff lock always on? Yes, it is. Which means you also never have to worry about being in automatic mode. Find something. Really? 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 Okay. Hold on. Allow me to adjust my line. It's not the first time I've done that. It's actually far from the first time I've done that. Ooh. The only thing that saved me there was staying in the throttle. Everything else literally played almost no part. It's like if I hadn't have stayed in the throttle, I would have rolled, no question about it. Now, let's see how this thing does in the mud. Now, in the more shallow stuff, I'm really not expecting any issues. I feel like the only time I'm gonna expect any real issues out of this thing is once we get it into the deeper mud, and honestly, once the mud starts to kind of get over top of the tires, which, if the mud is over top of the tires, I feel like you've got bigger issues to deal with anyway. Oh, that's in third. That's impressive. That's actually really, really impressive. The fact that it's doing that in third, I am very, very down for that. It's a little iffy in here. I'm just gonna actually leave it. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it in first gear and just kind of let it do its thing. And look at this interior. The interior is so well put together. I don't know how I feel about the camo seat covers. I mean, I feel like that's kind of a personal taste sort of thing. And if you're into that, no worries. And if you don't like the camo seat covers, I guess you'll have to deal with them. Because I didn't see any options in the customization to change out the interior. So it's probably got something to do with the fact that this was a commission build. So the real world owner's truck is also probably like that. I wonder about the dips obstacle. I feel like I could do it, but at the same time, I'm kind of back and forth on whether or not it would actually go well. I think we'll do it. I think we'll do it. I'll just leave it in automatic mode, and no, I'll put it in low and see if we can just kind of walk our way through here. Always a good test of approach and departure angle, which, funny enough, these big metal bumpers do not help with at all. Like, not even remotely. Find it. Not bad. It's a slow go, but it'll definitely get it done. It's not whether or not it will get it done. It's more along the lines of, are you patient enough to work with the truck's dynamics to get it done, if that makes sense? Because it'll get there, I'm sure. It's just down to whether or not you have the patience to drive it, to be honest. And some people do, some people don't. All right, so now we're gonna hit the bridge jump. And I noticed we were already running the 6-speed, so I'm just gonna leave the 6-speed in there and literally head right to the jump. I need more time in this interior view. The interior view is so good. It's so good. Do you want to turn? Maybe eventually? Oh, it eventually did, and then I didn't get the steering back to where it needed to be in time. So don't worry about it. And I have no idea what's bouncing around up there on the screen. It's some kind of graphical glitch, but I don't know if it's like a glitch with the truck or like some kind of strange damage issue. Oh, we wrapped the speedometer almost all the way around, and that was perfect. I mean, apart from the obvious visual damage, that was perfect. And I have absolutely no complaints. None. None at all. No complaints whatsoever. Zero. Now, at the end of the day, though, whether or not this truck is going to work well for you is, coincidentally, also up to you. But if y'all enjoyed this video, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I will see y'all next time.